JC, I was pregnant with JC when Talitha was diagnosed when we were in the hospital. And of course, growing up, you know, he would say, I'm getting sick, I think I'm getting diabetes. I'm not going to get diabetes. And then when he was 7, you know, I saw some symptoms, and it was just kind of scary at that time because I really knew the full force of what we had ahead of us. And we knew it before we even went to the doctor.
My name is Logan Kirkpatrick, and I'm 18, and I was diagnosed when I was 6, so I've been living with it for 12 years. And I don't really have any exciting diagnosis stories, so I'm just going to pass my head.
My mom took the thunder on that one. My name is Talitha Smith, and I was diagnosed in January of '92, so I've been living with it for 18 years, coming up on 19 years. So it's been a very interesting road, but let me just encourage all of you and say that you know you can do it, and obviously you're here, so you're concerned about finding out how you can help your children, and I appreciate that.
I'm Priscilla Becca, and I was diagnosed at age 5. I'm 26 now, so I've had it for 21 years. And I was misdiagnosed in the beginning. Doctor said she does not have diabetes, doesn't have it. But the mama's intuition kept coming, and she said, we're not leaving until we find out what it is. She has diabetes. And later that day, I was diagnosed, so that mama's intuition, they know.
I'm Tyler, I'm 16, and I was diagnosed when I was 5, so 11 years. I don't really know how to follow anything. It's kind of...
Well, my name is Mark Ross, I'm Tyler's dad, and what am I supposed to tell him? That's all.
That's all.
That's it. I even have less to say than he does.
I am Julie Ross. I am Tyler's mom, and
It runs in the family, obviously.
no, I was gonna say we got diagnosed, or when he got diagnosed, he was wasn't really sick like a lot of kids are when they get diagnosed, and we just had a few symptoms, and my aunt is a nurse, and she recommended that we go get him checked for something. I think she knew, but she didn't want to say. And so I took him to the doctor, and his urinalysis or whatever came back off the charts, and Dr. Barrett was like, let's draw some blood. And so it took like 5 adults to hold him down to draw a thing of blood, and I thought, please, Lord, don't let this be diabetes. Because he threw such a huge fit, and we went home, and Dr. Barrett called us later and said, you need to drive to Dallas, pack your bags, and you're going to Dallas to get in the hospital because Tyler has diabetes. I was like, what? So, but he adjusted very quickly to the needles, and now it doesn't even bother him, so.
My name is Sybil Fisher, and I have 2 children with diabetes. I have 5 children, and Morgan got diabetes when he was 7, and then I was at Crystal Kirkpatrick's house and had a diabetes support group, and everybody was telling how their children were diagnosed, and I went home the next morning and took my not yet 2-year-old's blood sugar, and I told my kids, they were homeschooling, I said, Madison has diabetes, I'm taking her to the doctor. Anyway, and it was really hard, very hard with 2, the depression. You wake up every morning to give your 2-year-old a shot. You don't really want to wake up. It's just hard. You just do what you have to do.
Or they'll be like, is it contagious? I always had that worry, people would ask me that, I'm going to catch diabetes, or if they saw me taking a shot, they thought I was doing drugs.
Yeah.
Because I was taking insulin, and security.
That really happened?
Mm-hmm. Security thought I was taking drugs, and they were like, oh, I'm diabetic. Getting the medical tags is I recently got it about maybe two years ago, and it's been so much easier to open up a bit.
Really?
And it helps people more understanding. Instead of, oh, this guy's just shooting up in class, it's not as big of a deal as it would have been if, you know. But I mean, it's no reason to be like in the shadows. Like you're not, if you have diabetes and you're scared about it, like you're not alone. I mean, there's a lot of people. Like even, I mean, I'm just noticing now. Like there's a lot more people than I thought had it. Even, you know. It's just,
I've met you. I didn't know you
Oh,
had
yeah.
it. Yeah.
JC, are you still on, are you on shots?
yes.
And you like that fine? I mean,
I was on the pump for a while because it was just easier, like you said, to do the 1/10 of a unit instead of, you know, because I was really, really thin when I was younger, just because I was so active, like I had abundance of energy. And the pump would sometimes, the wire would catch on, like, if I would, because I would run through the house, and the wires would, like, catch on the doorknobs or like, or something, and it would pull out because I was running so fast, like, running, just being so active and, like, bike riding and stuff, and it just wasn't feasible for me at that time. But, so I just switched back to insulin, to shots, but I've been thinking about changing back to the pump now, but I'd have to relearn it because it's so,
Different.
like, they've updated everything. It was 5 years ago since I've had it, so, I mean,
how many shots do you take a day?
one for every meal, so usually 4 or 5.
6?
Yeah, I remember that. And then if I go high, or then I take Lantus at night, so usually around 4 to 5 a day.
I've got something with the pump cord. The pump cord, the lady that taught me how to use it, she told me cut a hole in the bottom of my pocket and just string it down the inside of my pants and back up, and then the excess is only like that long, and because otherwise it will catch on everything. It's like that long.
Well, also too, when I was really young, I was also really, really thin, so I didn't have any, I couldn't use it on my stomach because there was no fat on it, so I kept like popping out, or like if I had it in there, sorry, I'm not using the microphone, but if I had it in there and I would take it out, bruising, like terrible. So we had to actually have the pump on my backside, because that's where the only fat I had on me was, that's just something, so you're not, if they don't have any fat on them, don't do it on the stomach because it can really, really hurt. So.
You know, the cord will get caught on something, but it doesn't happen to me very often, and not enough for it to be a real problem. Because, you know, if you keep it down in your pocket and, you know, if you've got your shirt over it, it really doesn't hang out that much, so that really hadn't been a problem. But, you know, how JC mentioned, you know, I don't have any, this is all muscle down here.
I don't know where you guys are getting that problem, but I need to find it.
So I just rotate mine from side to side in the back, and you know they tell you to rotate it every 3 days, and you know so I found for the most part if I don't get it, I mean you know if I keep it in the right area and I switch it back, I hadn't really had any problem with scar tissue, even though I've only been using those 2 places ever since I've had it, so I haven't really had a problem with that.
That's us too.
Yeah.
Where are you? I don't know where your spots.
Yeah, I'm just on my backside, on both sides, so that's
So
really
you
the
just
only
alternate it.
place. From backside every 3 days.
Some of the thinner people.
And then also, you know, you try to use.
Yeah, you kind of see where.
Yeah, you know, you can kind of see where your last couple sites were and like where, you know, where good spots are. So I hadn't really had a problem with it. I mean, I was kind of worried about it, you know, because that's all I've ever used since I've had it, but I hadn't had any problems with it yet. So.
Do you play sports?
Yes, I play football and I run track and I used to
And do
swim.
you wear your pump during that? Like
During football, I
games?
did, yes, ma'am. I have it's like a chest protector vest, and it had a little. It was kind of convenient because it had a little pocket sewed on the back, and so I would just stick it in that pocket, and it was. I never had any problems with it. I think the only time I actually broke one playing football was I had the screen turned inwards, and I was doing rolls on the ground, and I rolled on my back and I broke the screen, but that's not, you know, that's not, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you had it on your back, you just say, hey, I've got this thing on my back, I can't do rolls, I'll run or something, so. I never broke it from contact or anything, so.
They're made out of like
Oh, yeah,
helmet material.
Oh, yeah.
It's a chunk of plastic.
They
I
are
mean,
so durable. I mean, the pump, the actual pump, if you're not, or a pod, or they are so durable. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
The only thing I've ever broke on was the screen, and even if you break the screen, it still pumps inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, I haven't ever completely demolished one where it wasn't working all the way. So
Very
even,
smart.
I even
We
got it
broke-
wet once. And
We
it was
broke
still,
like the resolution one time because I like roller coasters, and so like the G forces on one of the rides like screwed with the screen and had like a black like burnout spot on the bottom. But that was the only thing. I mean, we could still read it and everything.
yeah.
It was really bad if you put on like polarized glasses, like sunglasses. It was like the whole screen was like a tie-dye explosion or something. But if you took off the glasses, it was fine. It was like 3D glasses or something. I don't know.
They're pretty durable. They keep pumping.
Okay, pass down to Talitha and Priscilla, if you guys have anything to share about your pumps versus injections and.
You know, I was on a pump for 4 years, was that right? 4 years, and when I was pregnant with my first little girl, she's 6 right now. When I was pregnant with her, I actually got off the pump, just because of the whole site change thing, and I would have problems with breaking out. So I know a lot of people here pro pump, but I'm actually pro shot. I prefer the shot.
The
I
shots
know
that are
that-
dialed, the ones that are dialed?
Regular injection.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for my own convenience.
But do you use a pen or do you do a?
I do. I've
draw.
switched out through a pen. I have used a pen before, but I just do regular drawing it up with a regular shot.
But 4th through like 7th grade, I just would not tell anyone. I mean, it was the biggest secret in the world, and if anyone knew, you know, God forbid, the world would end and anything. But then 8th grade, I really realized, you know, if I tell people and something goes wrong, they're gonna know what's going on, and they're gonna be able to tell, you know, a person that knows what to do that something's going on and something's wrong. Because just, you know, I tell someone, you know, my friends, I'm diabetic. You know, if I pass out, or if I am acting like a wild banshee, or if my eyes they look like glass, you need to tell, you know, a nurse or someone. They don't necessarily know that I need to take a bolus or that I need a peppermint or something, but they know that they need to go tell someone. Right, something is wrong. That's the main thing that I need everyone to know now, and I understand that. You know, I don't know how your child is, but if he listens and obeys you well,
How do I say this delicately?
I would pressure. They pressured. I didn't listen.
I don't think
It's
there's,
personal.
I don't know that there's much you can do except continue to hound and ask and tell him you need to do it, and then hope he does. Because I mean, it was obvious when. I mean, I just remember one of his Facebook posts saying I'm diabetic and I'm okay with that. I felt great.